Hi friends, my name is HanmanthRao, ID number 2503007. Today I'll be discussing about a topic which is an economic crisis for the nation. But on the flip side of it, it could also become an economic challenge based on which country can leverage its growth. That is India's dollar dependency. To set the context before going into the agenda, this topic is all about how to ensure rupee becomes strong enough so that it becomes a global trade currency. The agenda for the presentation will be India's influence of dollar dominance on India, why the rupee struggles in global trade, rebuild the legacy India's global trade strength, challenges and solutions. To begin with, let us understand how US dollar affects India. The effect mainly comes from our import dependency. We are heavily dependent on import of crude oil for our energy security. So any change in crude oil prices will increase fuel price and rupee weakens. This in turn increases our dollar dependency because we have to mainly trade in US dollars, not only with US but also non-US countries. And INR is only used as a domestic currency. And this in turn will lead to rupee depreciation because the US dollar demand is high. INR value will fall, imports will become costly, which in turn will lead to import inflation. That oil price in USD oil is priced in USD, hence dollar demand is high, import cost will be high, and fuel price will increase. All this will lead to one very big problem, that is external vulnerability. That is, any change in US policy will impact India. Our business cycles will get impacted, and we will have little control on that. I'll give a very small example. If US rate increases, capital outflow becomes very heavy, and rupee fails. Now let us understand why INR is not becoming a global trade currency. What are the factors that are limiting it? I have picked up three critical factors. First one is limited convertibility, especially the capital convertibility. That is, if some country trades in rupees, they will have abundance of rupees, and they will not be able to exchange those rupees at parity. Hence, they have the only option they will have is to reinvest back in the country. But there are trust issues and market limitations which will not give enough confidence for the foreign nations to reinvest back in the country. Like we have already discussed, the low trust issues. The low trust issues comes because of our regulated markets, and though we are globalized from 1991, but our markets are still regulated, especially our financial markets, which will lead to low trust issues among the foreign countries. And we are also having trade imbalance because we are heavily import dependent. Our imports are much higher than the exports, so we ourselves are invariably dependent on USDs. Hence, foreign countries' trust on INR will be much lower. If we look at our glorified past, we were heavily export oriented country, export powered country, majorly exporting textiles, spices, handicrafts. We had strong global trade routes. We were also blessed with the natural phenomena of monsoons, which facilitated our trade. From such strengths, we have now fallen to dependency. Our past export strength has waned, present dollar dependency has increased, future trade leadership seems to be in question. To get back our glorified past, I see two opportunities. One major opportunity is our own internal strengths. Because of our strong domestic consumption, India is in a strong domestic consumption dependent economy, and it presents a strong local markets, especially with the stable policies and internal market mechanisms. The domestic consumption can be leveraged to improve our INR's credibility. And especially when trade happens at a global level on rupees, foreigners will have sufficient trust to invest back those rupees into the nation. The second opportunity I see a digital opportunity, that is to introduce an alternate currency for international trade which is digital. This will make payments faster at low cost and give us a greater global outreach. But this will not be very easy. There will be a lot of challenges. As discussed at length, the trust issue will be the major challenge, and strengthening the domestic markets will definitely improve the foreign countries' trust to invest in the nation. And the policy barriers, market limitations have to be deregulated so that free trade can happen and INR can become a global trade currency. It is rightly said that currencies gain power when economies produce, export, and lead global trade. And perhaps India's next rise will not just be economic but monetary as well. So, to conclude, I will give three major strategies. One is the short term strategy to improve, to immediately increase our export growth. The mid-term strategy would be to trade in INR, at least with the Asian nations, so that our confidence, the foreign country confidence in INR increases and trust builds up, and then concentrate on our own fundamentals, that is our financial markets, so that if our financial markets develop and our domestic demand improves, definitely the trust and the confidence on INR of the foreign nations will improve and will be able to trade in rupees in future. Thank you.